Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Fulfillment podcast. I'm your host, Dave Goulas, and this week, my guest is the founder of Alexandra Nunez Coaching and Consulting. Alexandra Nunez, welcome.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for being here and taking the time.
It's my pleasure.
If you could, for everyone, can you just walk us through what your coaching and consulting practice is and how it came to be?
Um, well, I'll tell you a little bit about my journey. I I I did a career in the financial sector for over 20 years. And it was last year when I decided to make the leap into coaching. It's something that I wanted to do for a long time. I wanted to pursue my passion related to personal development, neuroscience, and anything related to personal growth. So I founded my consultant firm last year, and here I am. I help leaders and solopreneurs to optimize performance and cultivate work-life balance.
Okay. And that's a common theme we hear these days, particularly with the solopreneurs, high performers, whatnot, where they work a lot and they're out of balance. Right.
Yes, exactly. I gave it so much thought, and we realize that we're in a society that is evolving so rapidly, and people they live in this business cycle, whereas they're on the go, 150 times percent, and it's not sustainable. People they just want to achieve, but they don't realize that they're just damaging their health. So I think we have to come back, reflect, and realize that actually to perform at your best, you have to first take care of your health, take care of yourself. And this is where you can achieve optimal performance.
Yeah, I love that. Right. Because your health is the foundation of everything. And to really perform optimally, you have to be in good health.
Exactly. And my coaching is founded on neuroscience frameworks. So it's really understanding how your brain works and to use its potential. So for instance, in this crazy, fast evolving world, you know, so much information is there. You have your brain needs space to breathe, to think properly. So we have to learn to create spaces throughout your day, to think things through, to make decisions, appropriate decisions. um so this is what I do. I teach my clients to work with their brain, not against it.
Okay. And so, we see this so often, right, in terms of people that are working a lot and out of balance and, just almost overloaded. Well, like what are some of the common warning signs where someone really needs to implement a different strategy?
I think one of the most common warning signs is fatigue. You hear people saying all the time that they're constantly tired. And I tell people it is not normal when you're always tired. That's a sign. Sometimes it's also low energy, same thing. Um, it's also, when you have brain fog, when you're trying to think and you can have really clarity about your ideas, when you are task switching, when you're constantly distracted. That's actually one of the common causes these days, with technology. We're constantly distracted with notifications and so on, and it's very damaging for our brain health.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And especially in this digital age and the way things have progressed, even in the last 5 years or so, with the amount of information that's out, you see that a lot where it's so much more critical to be able to focus on one thing at a time and eliminate as many distractions as you can to really achieve, your peak productivity.
Exactly. And actually, that's one of my main pillars of my coaching programs is to teach people how to regain their focus. And ultimately, if for elite performance, I go into even how to achieve flow state.
Okay. Yeah, love that. Love that deep work flow state where you can, a friend of mine, Jason Henkel, I don't know if you've heard of him. I interviewed him a while back, but it's one of his big things too. He has a similar type of practice, but he says in flow state, you're 5 times as productive. And there's studies that back that up in terms of your cognitive level and your ability to perform in that peak state.
Exactly. This is like a very high level of performance in your brain. Um, and there are many studies that have proved the level of performance that people can achieve at that state. Yeah,
All right, now
it's
yeah, it's powerful.
you see
Powerful.
it actually you see it very much in athletes, but more and more, this you can also be applied in regular work life.
So if someone's listening to this and they hear us talk about those warning signs and kind of the common pitfalls of being overloaded and whatnot, and they have the brain fog and the fatigue and whatnot, and they know they need to make a change, but maybe they're right they're in a cycle where they're out of balance, they know it, but they might not necessarily sign up for a coaching program or something tomorrow. What are some simple steps people can implement to start to make a change and get back to a state of balance, brain balance?
Well, definitely, every case has its own particularity, but in generally, I am a big fan, and as I said before, I'm a big fan of taking breaks during the day. The benefits of taking good breaks. A good break doesn't mean that you're gonna take 15 minutes to scroll social media or that you're gonna watch TV, the news, and so on. A good break means going for a walk. A good break means maybe just sitting and doing nothing. This is a way where your brain can really, really activate is the evolved mode network, which is um, the part of your brain, the hub for creativity and reflection. A good break means doing exercise, doing yoga, doing meditation. So being able to integrate in your routine uh, certain habits, it's proving to be very, very efficient for 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 well-being and performance.
If you're like millions of companies out there today, credit card processing and receiving payments on time in full has been nothing but a headache and a hassle month after month after month. Run Payments is here to change that for good. Run is a tech company and a payments consultancy, not just a processor. They make it a blessing and not a burden to move money in your business and save on the processing fees while doing so. The guys over at Run give you the tools and the expertise you need to properly accept and monetize payments. An entire collection of out-of-the-box payment platforms, gateways, and point-of-sale terminals, all under one commerce ecosystem, what they call the Runverse. Get in touch today with the code EasyDCP1, and they'll be ready to talk shop and run together with you.
And anyway, there are other things for sure, but like, this is case by case. If you're talking about somebody that is in this business cycle, it usually means that they take on too many things. So, how to prioritize. Then if you have a person with the problem dealing with a lot of distractions, so then you go into tools for focus. So it really varies case by case.
Okay. I just want to go back to the beginning of your coaching practice, because I know you said you were in a finance position, a corporate position. You had this passion to really do the neuroscience and the personal development type coaching, and you finally made the leap and did it. But we see that so often in terms of people where they're in a job they don't like, they're not fulfilled, they're not happy, they know they want to do something else, but for a variety of reasons, whether it's fear or their financial situation or whatever it may be, they stay stuck in that rut. So what made you decide to finally take that leap and go for it on your own?
Well, I've been thinking very seriously for the past few years, but really what made me do that, it was a dream that I had. And when I woke up that day, I said, if it's not now, when? I realized that the best time was now. And I decided that, I had to take back control of my life. I felt that everything that I did, many of the things that I did in the past, it was following a little bit more like norms and society or what was expected from me. And I really had a big awakening over the past few years. And, with that dream that I had, it was my kids. I was older, an older person, and my kids came to me to ask me what I had done with my life. And then I woke up. And then I said, if I continue doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to be proud to answer my kids the question they ask. I want them to know that I was courageous to follow what I love.
Wow. That's a beautiful story. So you woke up from that dream and you knew you had to do it, and you just went and did it.
Yes, I did it, and after that, I went quick with it. I said, it is now. It is. I had to do it.
Wow. Awesome. Want to get into just a few of your LinkedIn posts. One specifically really caught my eye, and it's the one where you tell this story, and it's a little vague, so I wanted you to expand upon. But 25 years ago, going from Colombia to Montreal, you had no plan, no place to stay, going from the warm climate to the cold snow, and it basically alludes that you met a stranger, and through a simple twist of fate, everything worked out. How, and again, you had no plan going in, and you made the point that hope is always present. Can you just tell us a little bit more about that story?
Yeah, actually, that's one of my, a day that I will never forget for sure. Like a younger moving to another country in the winter time. I am from Colombia and I arrived in Canada in January, in the very cold, snowy weather. So it was a day full of emotions. But I was coming, young, looking for adventure. So actually the plan was not to have a plan, but then when I'm about to arrive, the day it was, that I was taking the plane, then you feel this uncertitude, this fear, what's gonna happen and everything. And we met this stranger that actually it became a very good friend for many years. Uh, I don't know. I came to the realization that day that, there is a hand there somewhere, call it God, the universe, energy, whatever, that it's always there. And when you have good intentions, when you are, following your intuition, it would always be there for you.
Wow. All right. So then you made the point, but you grew up in Colombia and you were just moving to Canada to just start over, basically looking for adventure?
Well, I came here to do some studies. I wasn't even planning to stay. At the end, I decided to stay. But it was the first time that I moved by myself. I wasn't with my parents or family to a country abroad.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Couple other posts that I really liked. One was talking about the magic of boredom, where you said that, it's kind of like you're talking about giving your brain breaks, but the way you phrased it, and oftentimes too, maybe boredom gets a bad rap, but talking about there's magic in boredom and just not doing anything and letting your brain breathe, so to speak.
Exactly. So yeah, it comes back to what I was saying, suggesting of including pauses or breaks during the day. And sometimes just doing nothing is a good thing. There's even some cultures, ancient cultures, that they had these practices where they would just sit and stare at something. There's the art of wall staring. So you just sit and look at a wall. And studies that they showed, they have analyzed what happens in your brain when you do that. And like I was explaining before, it activates your default mode network, which is the hub for creativity and reflection. And this is where you can get ideas. That's why I don't know if you have read, even famous people, they said they had this idea in the shower or in the bathtub or just walking. So, doing these things where you're like really, you don't have your brain active, you're just doing a mundane task. it it's actually your conscious mind is not activated, but your subconscious is more activated, and this is where you connect ideas, and creativity emerge. That's why it's so important. And today we don't have people, they don't have the time to do it. Isn't it funny?
Yeah, that is funny. And that's something too you're not really taught in school either.
Yes, yes. Anyway, that's the beauty. Neuroscience is a science that has evolved really fast in the past 10, 15 years, thanks to technology. Before, 20 years ago, we used to believe that, you were born with a type of brain and you die with it, so there's nothing you could do. Now, like so many hypotheses, they have, been scratched out, if I could say that. And so, with all these learnings, all these studies, we can we can see, you know, that things that we believe before, they're not good for you, or vice versa. So yeah, we didn't know that before.
Okay. And now, in terms of your coaching and your clientele, I know you mentioned you work with solopreneurs. Like, what type of ways can people begin to work with you?
Well, the best way to work with me is to contact me through LinkedIn, by direct message, or I have in my profile section, there is a link to book a call, a first consultation call. So that's easy, the easiest way to contact me.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, we really appreciate your time, Alexandra. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. And again, we'll put your contact info in the show notes. And yeah, if you want to get in touch and learn more about what Alexandra does, you can do so on our LinkedIn.